Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Listen, I am so incredibly thrilled you're here with us today because we are diving into a profoundly raw, just deeply emotional piece of source text. It's simply titled Nervous.docs. And honestly, I like to think of this document as more than just a poem. It's really a literal map of the human psyche's journey through a severe anxiety spiral, and ultimately its quest for self-discovery and strength. So, if you're the kind of person who appreciates unpacking complex emotions through a really clear, analytical lens, you are in exactly the right place. So let me ask you, have you ever felt completely trapped in a timeline where the present moment simply doesn't exist? The author writes, I hear about tomorrow today, I feel about yesterday today. It's such a brilliant cold open because it immediately hits on that universal experience, right? Being mentally everywhere except where you physically are. You aren't experiencing the right now. Instead, you're basically just a vessel for the dread of tomorrow and the regrets of yesterday.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Part 1, the weight of now, the crushing collision of past and future.
The poem kicks off by dropping us directly into this profound sense of temporal disorientation. The speaker is experiencing what we can really only describe as the sheer agonizing weight of now. They are going through massive temporal whiplash. On one hand, their mind is trying to bring my future nearby, which the author explicitly points out just ends up in future pain. But then, simultaneously, the speaker notes that my past brings problems close by, leaving them with, and I quote, a lot to sort and to forgive. It's a vice grip. They're being crushed between two timelines that they have absolutely zero control over. And that intense pressure leads to this beautifully tragic realization. The speaker writes, I have no start and no end. I cannot be present nor disappear. I mean, wow, that beautifully captures the ultimate paralysis of anxiety. They're entirely unmoored from time itself. They note in the text that they simply am nervous and with fear. They literally can't engage with the world, but they also aren't allowed the relief of just vanishing from it either. Which brings us to part 2. An ocean of isolation, the physical and social manifestation of anxiety. Because here's the thing, this abstract anxiety, it quickly becomes intensely physical. The author isn't just worried in their head, their body is completely reacting to this feeling of being off balance, basically standing on one foot. They sense my feet trembling. They actually taste a bitter beginning cricking. They describe being nervous to the bone and back and shaking with every word. It is absolutely crucial to understand how visceral this is. The anxiety has completely bled out of the mind and taken full hostage of the body while they're just trying to navigate their day. And that brings us to a massively impactful quote. The text says, I am alone in ocean of possibilities. I have no voice while speaking. Just think about how closely that mirrors the universal feeling of imposter syndrome. The real tragedy here is that the speaker feels their opinions are not considered. They are floating in this vast ocean of things they could potentially do, but they feel utterly voiceless, noting they only have a little dignity left to spare. So because they feel voiceless, they fall into a trap that I think a lot of us can relate to. I end up pleasing what I don't bring. This just perfectly nails that exhausting burden of people-pleasing while you're running on completely empty. They're trying so hard to cater to external demands, offering up parts of themselves that aren't even genuinely there. It's this deeply human phenomenon, but it really only serves to isolate the speaker even more. Let's move to how this builds in part 3, the cycle of doubt, when the mind turns on itself. We are really entering the deepest part of the emotional descent now, and I want to walk you through this structured chaos. The speaker outlines this progression of internal failure. Step 1, they say, I try to help me, but no luck. Step 2, they see myself stuck, freely admitting they have a long history of struggle. Step 3, they cannot gain inner belief in my belief, projecting all this doubt onto themselves and others. And finally, step 4, this vicious cycle means they end up doing harm to my being. They fully recognize that by failing in these struggles, they are fundamentally not helping my core being. But then, and I absolutely love this, right in the middle of all this heavy, paralyzing existential dread, the author drops this line. I need some organizing. Yes, I think. You just have to appreciate the tasteful, empathetic humor here. It's got to be the most massive understatement imaginable. Your past and future are colliding, you're shaking to the bone, your inner belief is completely gone, and the mind's gentle response is, yeah, I probably need a planner to do some organizing. It is such a beautifully human attempt to slap a simple fix onto total, overwhelming chaos. Which actually brings us to part 4, seeking the energized self, breaking the cycle and searching for meaning. See, that little realization about organizing, it's a spark, and it marks the true pivot point of our explainer today. We are shifting from the descent to the ascent. The speaker realizes that everything they're doing is bringing them loss. So even though their environment is telling them otherwise, they actively demand meaning. I need to know what energy wants. This is a total existential wake-up call. The speaker is refusing to stay stuck and shaking. They are totally done asking what of this and that, and instead, they start asking these massive, foundational questions about their existence and the life force inside them. So the crucial point here is how they structure this search for meaning. They lay out three really distinct requirements. First, I need to know why to this life. Second, I want to have why to my doing. And third, I want to feel why to my being. According to this text, overcoming anxiety isn't about figuring out the what anymore. It's this relentless, driving search for the why behind absolutely everything we do. But of course, you can't fill a vessel that's already filled to the brim with fear, right? The text reveals that true emergence from an anxiety spiral only happens when the speaker makes the choice to explore and explore more. Through that exploration, they make an incredibly brave admission. I recognize some emptiness within, I let go of what is holding me. They finally confront that void inside. And by doing that, they're actually able to release those heavy burdens of the past and future we talked about at the very start. So once you let go, what comes next? Well, this brings us to the practical aftermath of that release. The speaker shifts gears entirely, moving from desperate panic into constructive questioning. They ask how to bring out some how to my life and how to help this tired self, looking for ways to bring out an energized self. They've transitioned from being completely paralyzed by how to do this and that to actively seeking out the methodology to actually heal. And that leads to the final climactic line of the source text, how to be myself with strength. It's such an incredible triumph. Think about exactly where we started today, with a nervous, trembling protagonist who had no voice and was terrified of tomorrow. And here, at the end of the psyche's journey, the ultimate goal isn't just basic survival. The goal is an empowered, fully authentic existence. It's about being yourself, but doing it with absolute strength. Ultimately, this entire document acts as a mirror for our own internal battles. We've seen how dwelling on the past and dreading the future just paralyzes the present moment, and how letting go is the required first step for finding your real strength. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to turn the focus directly to you. What are you holding onto that is draining your energy? Take a second to really reflect on that today. Find what's holding you back, let it go, and step into your own strength. Thank you so much for hanging out and exploring this fascinating text with me today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and we'll see you next time.